Hi there, my name's Jason Williams, and in this video, it's early in the morning, you can tell I'm a bit tired, a bit late, still waking up. Anyway, I'm doing a battery, like a power change out on this homemade camper trailer. I've got a heap of products that I'm going to put in this, and I'm going to remove everything and start again. You know, everything from removing steel frames and I'm hoping to reduce a heap of weight. Yeah, that'd be good. You know, remove a bit of weight. Not that that's major, but yeah, okay, it is. Hopefully remove a bit of weight. I'm replacing with a lithium-ion battery and a different charging system and slightly different setup, as you will see. But I'll first take the camera and I'll show you around what's here, what's going to be changed, and then I'll show you on the bench some of the products I've got that I'm going to introduce into this trailer. There's one product which is a bit not quite me, but that's okay. I'll get through this. So here in the box, I see I don't know if these lights still work. No. Anyway, the battery that's in this is no good. Anyway, this is a box, and you know, it's fairly empty. It's going to slightly change. This is the shelf in this front box of the trailer that I'm going to remove this steel, going to mount this aluminium the way it's meant to, and the inverter will remain in the trailer, and so will the battery charger, and I'll be changing that out and changing a few of the wires. The light will stay there, and if I go around, go right around the back, in this I'm going to try mount a light just so it's a little bit better, I think. And the main part of this is this big 240 amp AGM battery. This is going to come out, and this whole steel frame is going to be removed, so I'm going to reduce a major amount of weight of cables, battery and the steel tray, because the steel tray that this sits in with all the reinforcing is almost as heavy or as heavy as the battery. And all the things I'm going to be putting in it is just here. I'm going to put in this Victron battery monitor. It's got a shunt and it's got Bluetooth, and I'm going to set that up. That's the fuse kit for this Egan Power Hub. I don't know if you guys have come across that. That's the case for the Power Hub. Some people might have seen this. Thanks to Heiner at Klarman Automotive. I went and saw him and he gave me all the info that I needed, and so I'll put that in. I'll be putting a Victron MPPT tracker in there. But the weirdest thing out of all this, so I've got a power hub, I've got a good solar charger, and I've got a way to monitor it. And the weirdest thing is here is I use Sirius, a King's lithium battery, to 120 amp hour, so not huge. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to make this really easy to swap out, because I want to see what is this capable of. You know, am I overdoing things on different batteries, and am I going overboard? So I'm going to try something really simple, really cheap in the way of lithium ion, because this is around your $500 mark. All right, with that's going to go in here, and the first part of this video is going to be removing everything, basically so there's no power in this trailer. I'm going to remove everything, but first, much needed coffee. Alright, time for this battery come out. I've disconnected it, and I removed a few brackets holding it in, but this battery I think weighed about 68 kilo, so close enough to 70 kilo, which is a bit of a worry, isn't it?
a bit of weight. I'm using the onion crane because there's no liquid greasing by hand.
It's a Intimidator AGM extended life Deca Intimidator, I think, made in the USA.
Okay.
Get it down on the ground before I smash something with it. Cool. Alright, next part is to, oh, that might be handy. Put the new battery on. Cool. Reuse, recycle. Alright. And then the next job is to actually cut this box out, which is massively heavy. Alright, so I've cut this box out and you know, there's nothing here now. And that part, I can close this lid, there's, you know, it's not going to be anything there. Wonder what I might have to do though is, you know, what can I use this area for? What will it be now? I know, if I get bogged, I can get someone to jump in here and do the Flintstones thing and help me get out. Yeah, maybe not. But either way, I've just got to clean these up. These couple of bits of some steel in here, I've got to neaten them up and paint them. And then that's that part of it done. Onto the next section. Alright, so I pulled out this frame underneath here and I'm just going to, because I don't need the steel frame, it was heavy, I'll show you that in a sec, and I'm just going to drill in here and hopefully rivet it from the outside. Wonder if this works. Still haven't got everything out here, but it's getting close. Alright, and I'll do that to the other side and that'll be that. So as you can see in here, everything is completely removed. That's exciting. Sort of vacuumed it out and got it. I've reinstalled the shelf the way it's supposed to be installed without that big steel bracket. And around here, this is all the stuff on the floor which has come out. Bunch of steel brackets holding the battery in. That's that steel frame that was underneath that shelf, which was so overkill. There's a heap of wiring. And that big steel box that the battery used to sit in. And there's the battery, 240 amp. That thing weighs 68 kilo. And the steel frame, I reckon it'd weigh that, if not more. With all, my gosh, I mean, it's like the trailer's sitting higher again already. Weird. But I guess that'll happen. Look at the gap between the tyre and the tray. My goodness. How high do you want it to sit? Might have to sort that out too at some stage. But in the meantime, I guess what I've got to do now, not recording all of this as it's a little bit hard, and it's dark outside, and what I've got to do now is do an electrical fit out, and I've got to start back here. So I've got this here because I'm going to set up a light in the this box, but you know, I don't have the light here with me, so I'm just going to run some cables and some grommets through these walls, connect into here, and also neaten up these cables for the fridge and run them through, so that I'm not using Anderson plugs anymore. I'll just do some grommets in there and try to neaten all that up. Alright, so here comes the fun part since I've got everything else sorted. The fun part is beginning to set everything out. So I know that the solar input of the box is up this end, and so I just get to, like, you know, sort of put these out and sort of see how they go. You know, I know that it goes that way. I'll be able to put them there and mark them out where I'm going to want them all to go, which is, you know, the fun part, as I said. Oops. That's rubbish. And so I'll be switching on my pump and my lights and anything else from this end up there. And this will be the Egan DC hub, which is this thing in here. Thanks, Heiner, for talking me through most of this. That's at Klarman Automotive, which is, they're really nice. They're a great bunch of guys. And yeah, this is all going to mount. And so what I've got to do, like, this is, you know, this is what all this is about. I'm not wiring it up just yet, like just setting it all out, making it nice and neat, making sure I've got everything accounted for. So if I've got that accounted for, knowing, you know, roughly where the bolts are going to be. You know, I was thinking I'd have to drill holes in this and hide a lot of cables, but the way that, you know, this is going to all be on there, you know, because there's going to be a bolt there. By the time this goes, it's probably going to go midway. Then I'm just going to tuck underneath here, aren't I? And same as all these, the cables will go just under it. Makes it easier, means I don't have to cut holes apart from the hole for that. Oh, and this one. These will have a lot of things will have permanent power to them. But yeah. It's going to have to take, you know, I'm going to plot this out. This will be in the center. This will be in the center with, you know, I know those switches probably going to be there. USB and so forth. Going to be there. Kind of pointing down because things rattle and fall out. Kind of pointing up because crap will go on the top and get stuck in there. Have it sideways. This one's cables will go through the board. Yeah, and so here comes the exciting bit of measuring and putting it all out and then beginning to mark it. and then because once I've marked it, drilled all the holes, fit them on there, test fitted them, like, because I've got to mount this into the box, see how it's going to sit, how it's going to look, make sure these are definitely right before I go attaching anything, and then I'll carpet it, put it all on there permanently, and then wire it all up and fit it in there and connect the wires. Alright, let's do this. Alright, with all of it cut out, you know, roughly the size, everything marked, what I do is I'll have to fit everything and wire it up and then take it all off and then carpet it. Because I don't know if, as I'm running these extra cables, where exactly everything's gonna go. You know, I assume there's going to be a couple of extra things put everywhere. You know, it's just going to take me time, just going right through everything and making sure everything's absolutely perfect. And for that, I'll do like I'll plan, and then I'll do a time lapse of you know, sort of fitting it all up. So as you see in these time lapses, I start assembling the Egan DC hub with the steps in it, which is to hold the power board off of it slightly with Loctite, and then I go through drilling all the holes, cleaning it, like, you know, changing, you know, mapping it out where each piece is gonna go, and cleaning it up. I got some blue carpet that I had left over from something else, and I cut a piece, and that looked about right. Again, like, just being very mindful to keep everything clean while doing this and lining it up properly so that I can start gluing it. And I just mix it up with a bit of wire on a drill, the glue that is, and I couldn't believe how quick this glue starts to set. And so I just wiped it on with I had a rag because I ran out of paintbrushes, which I would normally use a paintbrush to put glue on, but ran out a little bit, so I just put it on kind of both sides. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do this, but I did it. Lined it up, whacked it on, clamped it. I let it get tacky, and then I started pushing the ends over, or let it start to dry, and then started stapling the corners right over the face of it, so that you couldn't see the staples, but it held it tight. Even though the glue will do the job, but this was a good guarantee that it would hold while it was setting. And then I begin, cutting the spots out where I'm going to put all the little doodads, whatever you want to call them. That was the switchboard where I was cutting there, and then I cut out where the energy hub, the Victron energy monitor went, and then he put a few slits in any spots where the cables are going to run through the board, plus where the bolts are running through the board. That brought me to start to center it out, try to get it in the exact same position so that I could begin screwing in place, making sure everything was absolutely perfect. I would screw it in, and mounted the board in on those steps that I put in previously. I Loctited them as well, as you could see, so that none of this could rattle and come loose. Being that it's an electrical hub, the last thing I wanted was anything coming loose and shorting out. And screwed the little power board in, and put the Victron energy manager in, or energy monitor. Put the MPPT in. Used some tech screws, and which was probably a little bit rough, but hey, held it in nicely. And then I got my wife to help me as I did this. She doesn't come up in the videos, but I mounted it all up, wired all the parts in, as you see. Use a vacuum cleaner to clean up my mess as I went, and then mounted the inverter in place, and then I would mount the shunt and the DC fuse, a big 150 amp, make some cables, crimp up some cables, do a bit of heat shrinking. Alright, so that's it all installed, and I've got a switch panel there for my lights and water pump. The inverter's there, wired up. In here is a cigarette plug and dual USB wired in. There's one of the lights. The other light is under here. This is the Egan hub. This was called the Simplified Everything. Thank you, Heiner. That was very, very advantageous for me. There's the little power monitor, the Victron Energy monitor. I haven't set that up yet. It's a Bluetooth version. And there's the MPPT for the solar, which is hooked up, except out here, you'll see it's not plugged in yet, obviously, because there's no battery fitted. And under this, if I look up there, is the 150 amp fuse, and then this is the shunt for the Victron Energy, the power monitor. Victron, hard word to say, but anyway, and that's the little cord and the plug for it. There's a little cable that's got to connect to the battery, and so down in here is where the battery's going to go, which is now the next stage. I now have to build a box, like a way to retain the battery. I think I'm going to do a wooden box, I'll find out. And and begin from there, and there's going to be so much room in this box. And I won't show you around on the back of the trailer or anything, but I did have to, I'll open this fridge box. I did have to rewire some of the stuff for the fridge, because the fridge is connected in there as well, and that light. And if I look down between these two boxes, you'll see a wire running through there with two grommets. And then in this box here, I've not got a light yet, but that's ready for when I get a light. That might be later. But yeah, alright. Begin the battery box. Alright, so with it all in there, pretty much all set out, the battery I just temporarily fixed in here, just because I had to go down south and do a trip for about a week, and the battery performed fine, but I'm going to put now this battery box, or I'll put the battery box here so everything's safe, guard all the terminals, and that's the bit I'm up to now. Let's do that. Alright, so the battery box is in there. Bit of miscellaneous stuff sitting in the bottom of the box already. And up here I'm already been using this quite a fair bit, and I'm just charging this little battery thing that is I take for the lights in the tent. And everything works, if I can. And there's lights on. We'll look under there. Yes, they will work. And you can probably hear the pump when I do this. But there's, not that's much use for me at the moment. The battery monitor is good, because what are we at? 100% the battery. I don't know if you can see that. You should be able to, yeah. The lithium ion battery is at 100%. It charges ridiculously fast. It'll chuck in anything up to about 10 amps from these solar panels. And I've also got the lighting up here inside this box. And I did put the light, I'll come around here on this angle a bit, and you can see where the light is situated. Quite a fair way out on the lid, because when the Weber's sitting down on this aluminium frame in here, that shines in and I can see the whole way in on it, which is good. And so this light is amber or white. Awesome. Alright, I think that's a wrap for the whole lot. Thank goodness. Job done. Alright, thank you very much for watching. And I finally lithium set up the Egon Power Hub. This made it so easy. Like, if it wasn't for this, it'd be a nightmare. It was all pretty basic. You know, the inverter's all set up. Everything's there. I haven't tried the inverter actually. Well, it's on. It's working. I should be able to see what the draw is. Yep. Draws a bit over an, or it draws about an amp. Oh no, less than an amp. Anyway, everything's doing what it does. That, you know, I don't think that's straight. I can see the you know, what amperage is being drawn, how many watts, how much have I used so far, the percentage of charge, and the voltage. And this, it's all hooked up with a Bluetooth, so I can Bluetooth from my phone to this and this on the one app, because they're both the same brand, on the one app in two different sections in the app, which is really cool. So I can actually monitor everything that's going on from my phone and also here. So when I'm up in the tent, I'll be able to have a rough idea. And so that's a water pump. And this one is the lights, these lights in here and that one under there. Everything works so far. Everything's cool. Battery, you know, I'm keen to see how that King's battery goes, because, you know, I was like, but I'm going to give it a go. Easy to change out if it's no good after a while. It does 120 amp. Is that enough for me? Guess I'll find out. But yes, thank you so much for watching, and I'll aspire to see you in the next one. Cheers.